I'm 29, single, and my younger sister, now 27, has always been the favored child. Let me walk you through the whole story from the start. My parents had me when they were still figuring out their careers. 3 years later, my sister came along, and it was clear from the beginning who got the spotlight. My parents were kind to me, but once she arrived, everything seemed to center on her. Others noticed it too. Family friends would remark on how much attention she got, but my parents brushed it off with a chuckle. Growing up, the favoritism was obvious. My birthdays were simple, with a homemade cake, while hers were grand, with rented venues and long guest lists. When I asked why, Dad said, "You're older now." I was 8, she was 6. The pattern extended to gifts. I saved for months to buy a skateboard, but when she mentioned wanting a bike, it appeared by the weekend. Mom's excuse: "She's younger, let her have it." School reinforced the divide. I earned top grades and landed a good job early on. She brought home average assignments or a drawing, and it went straight to the fridge. I took second in a science fair, but Dad missed it for work. She had one line in a school play, and both parents skipped work to cheer her on. Mom's reasoning: "She gets nervous. She needs us there." I was a well-behaved kid, stayed out of trouble, excelled in school, and helped at home. But my parents acted like I didn't need attention. I was fine while she was the special one. I was constantly told, "You're older, you should get it," or "She's younger, let her enjoy it," as if my job was to prop her up. By middle school, the dynamic was set. She was the priority. I was there to support and stay out of the way. At that age, you notice the small stuff more, and there was plenty to see. In 7th grade, I wanted to join a science contest to build a solar-powered car, but it required a fee and materials. At dinner, Dad said it was too costly, and Mom told me to skip it. A week later, my sister signed up for a dance camp that cost double, and they paid without a second thought. I built a basic model from scraps in the garage. I couldn't compete, but my teacher praised my effort. That's when I realized I had to do things myself. Home wasn't just about money, it was how we were treated. If she made a mess, I was expected to clean it up. If something went missing, I was blamed. Once she left a juice carton on the couch, staining it. Mom called me to clean it, saying, "I know it wasn't you, but she's tired, just handle it." That was typical. She'd talk back, argue, or slam doors, and they called it spirit. If I did that, it was disrespect, and I'd lose privileges. Dad would pull me aside and say, "She's your little sister, keep the peace." It didn't matter who started it, I had to fix it. At school, I saw how my life differed from my friends. Their parents showed up to games, helped with projects, and asked about school. At home, conversations with me were directives. "Take out the garbage. Help your sister with her work. Don't stay out late." With her, it was, "How was your day?" or "You did great." By 16, I stopped expecting anything from them and focused on myself. I mowed lawns, took odd jobs, saved up, and bought my own things. She still got everything handed to her and once said, "I'm the favorite." My parents smiled. I stayed quiet, knowing speaking up wouldn't change a thing. By high school, I stopped asking for anything. I skipped field trips because I knew they'd say no. A class trip to a science center cost $30, and I didn't bother mentioning it. I thought money was tight, but then I saw them take her shopping for clothes or gadgets. Once I overheard Mom on the phone saying, "He's fine, he doesn't need much. She's the one we need to focus on, she's sensitive." That's how they saw me, someone who didn't need help or attention. But I did, I just learned not to expect it. By my 2nd year of high school, I was finding ways to earn money, shoveling snow, mowing grass, walking dogs. It wasn't much, but it gave me independence. If I wanted a book or game, I bought it myself. My parents called me responsible, proud of my self-reliance, not realizing it was because I had no choice. Meanwhile, she got whatever she wanted: club fees, new hobbies, or quitting when she felt like it. She'd brag, saying, "Mom and Dad think I'm special." I ignored it, but it stung. One memory stands out. There was a career fair at school, and I wanted to attend because tech companies were there. It was on a Saturday, and I asked Dad for a ride. He was busy taking her to a friend's party. Mom said, "Take the bus." I went, but the bus was slow, and I missed the first half. When I got home, she was gushing about her party, and my parents were all smiles. I didn't mention the fair. By senior year, I kept my head down, worked, and planned to leave as soon as I could. After high school, I knew I couldn't count on my parents. They paid part of my basic college fees, but I covered everything else: housing, food, transport, with part-time jobs and savings from high school gigs. She got a used car at 17, bought by them. I asked to borrow it for prom. They said no, she might need it. I hitched a ride with a friend. It didn't bother me much. I was used to handling things myself. I got into a solid state college in another city, which was a relief. I needed distance. My parents said they couldn't afford much, so I got financial aid, a small scholarship, and worked to cover the rest. They paid for one semester's books, but I managed housing, meals, and transport with coffee shop and bookstore jobs. When she started community college, they threw her a big send-off dinner. When I left, it was a quick goodbye. College was tough but eye-opening. I worked nights at a cafe and weekends at a bookstore. My grades were steady, but I missed out on socializing because of my schedule. I didn't mind. Earning my own way felt good. I tracked every expense in a notebook, even small snacks. When I needed a new phone or laptop, I planned months ahead. Meanwhile, she switched programs twice, then dropped out, still living rent-free at home. They bought her a newer car because the old one wasn't reliable. I found out when Mom asked for help with the car's Bluetooth. During family calls, she'd complain about boredom or wanting to travel, and they'd say, "We'll work it out." When I mentioned taking 16 credits and working 30 hours a week, they'd say, "You've always been good at handling things." In my second year, I got a better job as an assistant at a small tech firm, thanks to a professor. It paid more and I kept my bookstore shifts. My savings grew, and I opened a real bank account with a small emergency fund, $600 I was proud of. It wasn't much, but it was mine. I stopped caring about their lack of support. It was just my reality. I rarely called home except for holidays. They'd ask about school, then talk about her latest plans. She worked briefly at a store, quit because of the hours, and Mom said she was finding her passion. I wanted to say I didn't love double shifts either, but I held back. By junior year, I moved into a cheaper apartment with roommates, sold my old bike, and bought a used car. I started freelancing online, data entry, tutoring, anything that paid. I read about investing, budgeting, and saving, even if I could only do the basics. For her 19th birthday, they threw a big party, got her a new laptop, and paid for a week-long trip with friends. For my 21st, I worked a shift and got takeout with a friend. No party. It didn't hurt. It was just how things were. They always had different standards for us. I stayed focused, graduated, paid off my small loans, and saved for an apartment deposit. I didn't tell them right away, not wanting their comparisons. When I mentioned it, Dad said, "Good, now maybe you can help your sister." That hit me. They saw me as her safety net, not a person with my own goals. After college, I stayed in the city working full-time at the tech firm. The pay wasn't huge, but it was enough for a 23-year-old. I moved into a better apartment with one roommate, kept my car running, and saved monthly. I aimed to work hard and buy a place someday. At home, nothing changed. She, at 21, still lived with them, jobless after quitting short-term gigs. They acted like she was struggling heroically. Every call was about her. "She's stressed, be kind, she's sensitive." Her attitude got worse. During holiday visits, she acted like I was an outsider in her house, leaving messes, mocking my car or clothes. "Still driving that junk? Do you ever have fun working so much?" If I didn't respond, she'd push. "What, too good for us now?" One Thanksgiving, I brought a small gift basket. She rolled her eyes, saying, "Thanks, but Mom's got it covered. No need to show off." My parents didn't correct her. Dad said she's just teasing. When she started dating, it escalated. She bragged about her boyfriend's support and their big plans, saying, "He doesn't just work all the time like some people." Mom laughed. Dad said, "She wants you to relax." I kept my distance but saw the pattern. They downplayed my efforts and hyped hers. Around then, I got a promotion to team lead. I was thrilled and planned a small dinner with friends, inviting my family. They said they'd try to come. They didn't. Mom later said they were celebrating her online certificate, a minor achievement they treated as monumental. Dad said, "You know how she is." We couldn't say no. That night, I accepted they'd never show up for me.